Hey kids, back to Tubi Terrors. This is my Tubi Terrors number 14, and this is a British film, I assumed by a smaller uh, production company than Even Hammer was. It was released here in the States by American International, who handled a lot of Corman films and such. Uh, this is a movie that stars Barbara Shelley as Leonora, Leonora John. It's John and well, anyway, uh, Johnson. It's probably Johnson. She has a husband, played by. Let's see, where is he again? Jack May. Well, the movie begins. I'm going to talk to about stylistic choices. Uh, this feels like it's even for the time of 1957. They were trying to go for a retro feel, a tribute, a bit of the uh, Universal, and of course, the subject matter comes from Val Lewton and the RKO movies like Cat People, or Leopard Man. And Leopard Man is actually, I think, referenced a little bit, but there is a sequence in this movie that borrows something from the Cat People. It's done completely different, but those who know the Cat People will recognize what they're trying to do with the sequence. Um, but when it starts, it's at this mansion. It kind of has a look and feel of maybe a Universal film. Then it switches off into outside that world, and it's modern day England, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Uh, but what this movie concerns with is Barbara Shelley is her she's called to the mansion of her uncle, uh, who is this weird fellow who has a leopard in a cage in one of his rooms, and well, she's going there to discuss inheritance, and part of her inheritance is a curse. Uh, you know, jumping the jumping right to it. The curse is you're connected to this leopard, and your soul from time to time will go into the leopard. You basically control the leopard. You become the leopard, and of course, you better not be in a bad murderous type mood, or somebody's going to get hurt. Uh, for comfort's sake, she decides to bring her husband, uh, who I just mentioned, uh, who's an asshole, who's screwing her, their friend. Um, Unsure of who the actress is. Uh, Sometimes I don't hear character names, so I can't associate with it, and there's no picture of her, Uh, but it might be Kathy, played by Patty Webster, and but they're obviously screwing. Her husband doesn't even notice because he's drunk all the time. Uh, but for comfort's sake, they go to she brings them, even though he said only her. Eventually, they get to the house. They separate her, make her uh, sleep in one room, and everybody, including her husband, is to sleep in on the other side of the house. That's so the uncle can speak to her about the curse, mostly. Middle of the night comes. This is when they want, that's when he wants to speak with her, for added security. And his maid, Anna, played by Lily Kahn, or Can, Kann, she comes in, wakes her up, and apparently Barbara Shelley sleeps naked. So she gets out of bed. The maid's still there, staring at her. This is a weird scene. I just wanted to bring this up. And you see in shadow on the wall that she's starting to get dressed, and the maid says that she had always been a beautiful child, and she grew into a beautiful woman, which is really kind of creepy. Well, it ends up happening. She's told the curse, and she ends up feeling a connection with the leopard. What the uncle has planned, is basically suicide by leopard, and that's what he does. He kills himself by leopard. Barbara Shelley sees this, watches this. Eventually, the leopard runs off with a piece of the uncle, and he's gnawing on it. She goes over, picks it up, blood on her hands and everything, and she's getting excited. Now she starts believing that the curse is real. However, she has this old friend, an American, who's a psychiatrist, played horribly by Robert Ayers. This is the thing that the director really should have. Shelley ends up being kind of very melodramatic. It usually works for her. Sometimes she really, really gets into it, and he's like this monotone, flat, uninteresting person. I mean, it's like a drone whenever he's on screen. And at a certain point, because she basically enters the leopard, and when her husband is fucking the friend, and her friend in the forest, she kills the husband, and the girl gets to run away. But could Shelley, Barbara, she'd kill her too if she didn't. But she goes off to London because she's wondering if she really has a curse or doesn't, and but yeah, she goes off to London with him. She gets locked up for a bit. Kathy Collard plays the psychiatrist's wife. The thing is, the old friend concept with the psychiatrist, he was in a love interest in the past. And so there's going to be jealousy there. You kind of get an idea what's going to happen after that. There were some interesting bits during this last part of it, especially when you legitimately become unsure if she is cursed or crazy. But you'll see if you watch it. I don't actually I'm not saying you shouldn't watch it. It's a pretty short movie, an hour and 16 minutes. Uh, but the dynamic, especially between Robert Ayers and Shelley, she being kind of dramatic with her her voice, and him being flat as a board, and just God, I mean, their dynamic is pretty bad, and I think the director should have toned her down maybe to get a more of a balance. But it's just kind of annoying whenever he's around, and that last part of it after the husband died, he's around most of the time. It didn't completely ruin it. I'm not doing any sort of enthusiastic endorsement of this movie, uh, but it's not completely beyond the pale. It's not. If you're interested in this type of film, if you like Barbara Shelley and had ever seen it, I would check it out. Well, until next time, stay safe. Always have a good time. Check out L. Lecard's channel. He started Tubi Tuesdays. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the beginning. Yeah, I'll have a link below. And remember, it's on Tubi, and it will be linked below. Thank you very much. Have a good time. Stay safe. Bye now.